Principles of Accounting 2. This is the prologue or introduction to the textbook. So the first part of the textbook has some information about how the textbook is going to go and content we're going to cover within the course. So what we're looking at in this class is managerial accounting. Principles of Accounting 1 covers financial accounting principles, and Principles of Accounting 2 covers managerial accounting principles. What are the differences between them? Well, this graph shows an example of some of the differences between the two types of accounting. Financial accounting provides information for external users. This information is provided in the forms of financial statements and other reports that are prepared for people who make financial decisions. Managerial accounting is internal decision information. So we create information as managerial accountants that is used for internal decision making in the company. What the time focus is, financial accounting is a historical perspective. So the financial statements represent information that has already happened. In managerial accounting, we're planning for the future. We're creating budgets. We're looking at different types of analysis to decide what we will move forward to do in the future. Financial accounting, it needs to be verifiable. We have to have proof. Remember from Principles of Accounting 1 that nothing happens without a source document. We create journal entries with source documents. In managerial accounting, we don't really have that as much. So it's not that we don't have source documents and we don't have journal entries. That just isn't the main focus of managerial accounting. The main focus of managerial accounting is really about using the information we have to make decisions about how the company should run and things that we should do. What are the rules? In financial accounting, we have to follow very specific rules. We have GAAP, US GAAP, IFRS, that's the International Financial Standards Board. We also have FASB, which is the Financial Accounting Standards Setting Board. We have to follow all of those rules to create the documents that we make for our yearly reports, for our monthly reports, for our quarterly reports. We might also have tax regulations, etc. For managerial accounting, because we're using most of that information for internal decision making, we aren't bound by any of those rules or formats. We have a lot of flexibility to make choices about how we collect and put together our information. Now, if managerial accountants are creating information that will eventually be used on the financial accounting side, of course, then any information that we create that's going to eventually end up on a financial statement has to be verified and does have to follow the rules. And throughout the course, throughout the semester, we'll be looking at different things that happen that do have to follow specific GAAP requirements. The main three management duties are planning, controlling, and decision making. Planning is what are we going to do as part of our business. We're going to develop budgets in chapters 8, 9, and 10. We're going to look at how goals will be achieved. We're going to talk about how we plan for future periods. Then the controlling portion of it is our everyday job duties. So are things working well? Are we doing what we said we were going to do? Did we meet the goals that we planned to meet? And if we didn't meet those goals that we planned to meet, why or why not? What happened? Do we need to set new goals? Do we need to fix things? We also have performance reports where we'll look at how well the company is doing, how well the company is managing, how efficient the company is working. We're also going to look at in the last chapter financial statement analysis, where we look at the performance evaluation of companies based on the financial statements that they produce. And then decision making. What should we make? What should we sell? What services should we provide? What should we as a company do? What things are standing in the way of those things that we want to do? So we only have so many hours in a day. We only have so much money available. So what should we make, sell, or do with the capacity we have to generate the most amount of money? All of those things that businesses have to think about in order to actually make money and produce money. When we looked at financial accounting, that is really looked at from an accountant's standpoint. So what are the day-to-day accounting transactions that have to happen in business? When we look at managerial accounting, there's a lot of usage that other majors can get out of it besides just knowing about the accounting information. So the next couple of slides go through how different majors can use that accounting information that we're going to be talking about throughout this semester. For example, marketing majors, planning. Marketers have to budget for their advertising, and they have to decide where they're going to spend that money, what kind of return they're going to get on that money. Then in the controlling, is where we're spending our money working like we thought it was going to be? Should we shift money from TV to radio, or should we put it all in internet advertising? And should we create service bundles? Should we sell products individually? Should we offer a customer satisfaction discount? And what does that customer satisfaction discount do to our bottom line and our ability to make money? Those are all questions that we're going to be looking at throughout this semester. Supply chain management majors. So supply chain management is getting a product from conception into a customer's hands. So how many should we produce to make sure that stores never run out of stock? What does our demand look like? Are we achieving our goal of quality? We'll talk about cost of quality in a later chapter and how we maintain quality reports for organizations. Should we use an overseas supplier? Should we outsource any of our services? Should we make everything in-house, or should we buy parts from other people? Human resource management. How much should we be spending on employees? How much money do we have available to spend on employees? How many employees can we hire based on how much money we have? Is a better investment to hire full-time employees or to hire part-time employees or temporary workers? Do we have seasonal issues? These are all things that we're going to look at throughout the semester as we're looking at how we calculate accounting information and provide accounting information to people to create information for decision making. For accounting majors, so managerial accounting is an industry that accounting majors can go into. There are a lot of different industries that accounting majors can go into. You can focus in tax, you can focus in government and nonprofit, you can focus in auditing. You can be just a financial accountant where you work for a company and you generate financial statements and you do journal entries and you work with auditors when they come to audit your company. Or you can work in industry. So when you're working in industry, this is when you're working for a private company or a publicly traded company, manufacturing plant, a lot of different kinds of industry where you work in some managerial accounting. There is a certification for management accounting. The financial accounting Financial accounting has a CPA, or Certified Public Accounting. Managerial accounting has a CMA. So there are CMA exams. It's a two-part exam, and each part has different, see on the next slide. So part one is financial reporting, planning, performance, and control, and part two is financial decision making. These are things like cost management, financial statement analysis, decision analysis. We're going to cover a lot of the topics covered on these exams throughout this course. You'll also cover other topics from these exams in other courses. If you're a finance major, you'll hit a lot of the more corporate finance and investment decision stuff that you won't necessarily see in other accounting classes. So when we're looking at this course, the primary purpose of management accounting is to look at these measurement skills that managers use for the planning, controlling, and decision making. Those measurement skills help us answer these questions. What am I going to do for next year? And how am I performing relative to what my initial plan was? So when we're looking at cost analysis, we're going to be looking at one, creating budgets, creating plans, and then also that controlling and decision making is, okay, I created a plan and then I actually did my business, and how close was my plan to what actually happened? And not only how close was my plan to what actually happened, then if I was really far off, I might have to investigate what happened. Why was I so far off? And am I going to have to fix my plan for the next month or the next year to deal with the fact that I was so far off in what my original goals were?